Hello, YouTube. I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney. On this channel, we answer publicly posted questions from YouTube users, getting the folks the answers they need from an employment attorney. I am supposed to tell you right now to like, subscribe, comment down below. If you share this video, it will help me help more people just like you. Got it all out of the way. Fantastic. Um, so kind of a quick note, story time situation. Not like a fun story time. Not a sad story time. Just like a useful story time anecdote. I was talking on the phone with someone today, asking questions about a case. The person wanted us to represent them, and I asked a question, and the person said, "Oh, I'm not comfortable telling you that." And this was a lovely person. This is a great person. There's nothing wrong with this person. Not mad at this person. This is a great person. But my initial reaction was, "Oh, you're not comfortable telling me that. You're comfortable asking me to invest 20, 30, 40, 80,000 in your case, but you don't want to tell me about it. That's cool. How about you get the F off the phone?" And that's what's wrong with me, right? And then I had to take a beat and stop thinking about putting hundreds of attorney hours and tens of thousands of dollars into the case for someone who doesn't even want to tell me about the case. And I had to say to myself, hey, this person doesn't understand what they're asking me for, and they don't understand why I'm asking them why what I'm asking them is important. They just don't understand, right? And I could hear a little bit of sharpness in my voice as I'm talking to this person. I'm like, whoa, you're not being the best version of Vince, and you're doing something that you would fault other employment attorneys for, is that you're getting annoyed because this person's not telling you what you want to know about the case, when it's your job to kind of explain, hey, I do need to know those things, but here's why. And you can choose to tell me or not, but I probably won't be able to help you if you want to not tell me things about the case, right? And so I spent the time, and I did the things like, hey, I get it. You don't want to tell me some things, but here's what you're asking me for. And here's why that's a lot. And I think I do maybe want to help you, or at least make you an offer of representation, but I'm going to need to know answers to all my questions if that's going to happen. And the response to my question, when I'm trying to figure out if I can help you or not, it's about the case. I'm not asking something untoward. I'm not going off book here. I'm saying, hey, I need to know a couple things about the situations that arose during this case, right? Or the people involved in this case, whatever it is, right? If the answer is ever, oh, I'm not going to answer that question. No, I'm not going to tell you that. Okay, that's your right. That is. And once I take the time to explain why I need to know that, if your response is, yeah, I'm not going to answer that question, that's cool. That's totally cool. I'm definitely not going to help you. And no attorney is going to help you because you're not really engaging in a give and take of information. And if we're already on day one at I'm not going to tell you, what I can tell you is that if we're at I'm not going to tell you about my case, what I can tell you is attorneys are not going to be excited and pumped to invest hundreds of attorney hours and tens of thousands of dollars in your case, right? That's just not going to work out. It's not going to be a thing, as they say, and you might end up not being able to find the representation you want, right? So I think the context of what you're asking the attorney for has value. If you keep that in your mind, if the question's something where you're like, oh, I'm not super comfortable talking about that, I do get that. And I do get that these cases pend on topics. They're often tied to incredibly uncomfortable topics for the plaintiff. But there is some level of open book nature required from the plaintiff when pitching a case to the attorney, right? If we start a case for you and we spend 30 attorney hours and $10,000, and it turns out, oh, you were hiding a few things, that is going to impair the attorney-client relationship. That is going to be a problem. And luckily enough, I said and explained that to this person. This person said, oh, that makes sense, which made me feel great. Because I was like, oh, I did better. Right? And then we had a conversation about the case, and it was great and swell, and it made me happy, right? I think that person also left the conversation being like, oh, that was better. Okay. And I think that is better in terms of potentially that person finding the representation she or he might need, right? Like that's a really positive thing. So I gotta stress, no secrets, no, and also just no refusal. Like the refusal to talk about your case. And again, I'm not asking to know something gross or weird or I mean, it might be deeply private, frankly. Like if there's certainly situations where people can say horrible things about what you do in the privacy of your whatever bedroom, very private things that can be at issue in an employment discrimination case. Like that happens. And you may not want to talk about those things. But if that's the basis of the case, we're not going to be able to pursue the case without talking about those things, right? Realistically speaking. And you might not want to talk about what you talk about with your therapist. But if you're seeking emotional damages, at some point, there's going to have to be some level of discourse about that, right? There's all these private things, but your health, your DNA, your heritage, your family, there's all these things that can come up in the context of employment discrimination that different folks might say, oh, I don't want to talk about that. Okay, I understand that. I don't blame you. I wouldn't either, but if you're going to find representation and you're going to successfully prosecute this case and bring the civil claim and go forward and win or settle or have your day in court, whatever it is you're looking for, there might not be a way around it. Discomfort is the norm in employment litigation for everyone. I imagine employment defense attorneys are very uncomfortable having to sit at a table with a rapist sometimes, right? Or like a Nazi, I mean, I can't imagine that feels great. In fact, I know many of them, when they get drunk, are very deep in their feels about what they do. Do I necessarily feel sympathy for them? No. They get the paycheck. They made a choice. By the same token, I have horrible conversations with my clients where I say, listen, I know horrible things happen to you. Horrible things happen to you, but you can't testify. You cannot share your story. We've been prepping you for weeks. And these horrible things happen to you, but your ability to share those things is near zero. Like, we have brought in professionals, third parties. We've invested 120 hours trying to get you in shape to share your story. And you can't. And I don't want to tell you to take the settlement, but I do need to tell you your inability to testify means you're probably going to get $0 at trial. So you can either take this money now, which I don't want you to take because I don't feel like it's enough for what happened to you, or I suspect it is my sincere belief you will receive $0 at trial because of your inability to testify. That is not a feel-good hit. That's a rough day, right? Everyone at all times will be uncomfortable in employment litigation. The people who did the bad thing, they're even uncomfortable. They're being called on the carpet. Everyone's gathered here today to talk about what a horrible person that person is. And rightfully so, I suspect, in 99% of cases. But I don't think it's comfortable. I don't think they feel good about it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're like, yeah, I'm a bad guy. Maybe. I mean, listen, those people are definitely out there without question, right? But generally, everyone at all times in employment litigation is going to feel bad. Not to make a meme out of it, but like, feels bad, man. Like, if you're familiar with the early aughts and maybe the late aughts. And just feels bad. Everything about employment litigation feels bad. Fighting about hate crimes feels bad. Always. It should. It's tough being a human and looking at things humans do and being like, oh, yeah, human nature's kind of shitty. That's not fun. So I get it. I get that it's uncomfortable. To some extent, if you're going to litigate in this field, if you're going to bring this claim, you'll need to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. and you're going to have to disclose openly to your attorney and even prospective attorneys. You might have to do it repeatedly, which is going to feel horrible because somebody might hear everything you have to say. You might disclose sincerely and openly, be an open book, and they might say, wow, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I'm not going to take that case. That must feel horrible. That must feel horrible. I can't even imagine how that feels. I believe you. Horrible things are done to you. I'm not going to take your case. It's very hard to be a plaintiff. It is. I'm telling you to do very difficult things. But if you want representation, you're going to have to be open with the potential attorneys you're talking to. That's how you're going to get offers of representation. I'm sorry. It's going to have to be. This video started out a much more feel-good hit because the situation worked out great. But the wider context is kind of a bummer. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you find yourself in a position where you thought this video was something you had to watch. That sucks. It means someone's attacked you on the basis of your identity in the workplace or sexually harassed you. And that's horrible. And I'm sorry. Good luck to you. I hope this video helped. If it did, like, subscribe, comment down below. Take care.